just nice.
What's up, guys? It's RevJ again, out with the Hatred Copter C10. Right when I started filming this, the neighbor started a chainsaw, so excuse the background noise. If you guys watched the video I did a couple weeks back, we went ahead and got started on the beginning of the subfloor area for this. I went ahead, big swing, and cut over a ton of aluminum C-channel here, something like 60 or 80 cuts to get it all straight. And that's kind of where that video stopped. Off camera, I came back and went ahead and got the whole rear area done the same way, cut the outside supports for it, cut the horizontal stabilizers or cross braces, whatever you want to call them, and a few downward little legs for it to sit on where the frame doesn't come up evenly to have a nice smooth bed floor surface. Like I said, got all that cut except for one or two pieces that have to be final trimmed. And then there was the matter of getting it all stuck together. Now I can't remember exactly what I said, but it was something to the effect of I'd like to get it TIG welded if possible, but if not, the other option is going ahead and using a spool gun, and that I might borrow one. Now fast forward to the video I put up after that, in which I unboxed the Hobart variant of said spool gun. Spoilers, if you didn't watch that video, they don't interchange between Hobart and Miller, at least not between the 210 MVP and the 211 MVP. If you guys didn't watch that first video I put up on the bed subfloor or the spool gun unboxing, definitely go check those out. I'll have links in the description below, as well as checking me out on social media. I have had updates and small little incremental pictures, which brings us to today. All the pieces are cut. I've got a spool gun, so I've got no excuses left in terms of getting it put together. So I think it's time we get this thing fully hooked up, get that gas cylinder attached, get a couple of these bed pieces laid out, and start laying some welds. All right, so I've got the Spool Runner 100 here with me. I've got some 4043 aluminum wire in it. I took a look at the reference sheet on the inside of the little Hobart side panel there to see what it said in terms of settings. Obviously, like anything else, there's gonna be some play around room with it. I did run a couple test feeds off camera just to make sure everything was feeding properly, and it definitely seems to be working. I have some limited spool gun experience. I've used one a few times around, mostly for larger stuff. This 1/8 inch C-channel we're welding is a little on the thin side for a spool gun, but I think it should be doable. Just have to be a little careful in terms of heat management. I'm not expecting this to be the prettiest thing on the planet, but I am expecting it to be functional and hopefully brush up nice. Again, you're not gonna see most of this stuff. It's just on the underside of the support of the bed. But you know what? If we can do a clean job of it so it is presentable, well, then obviously we definitely wanna go ahead and do that. Alright guys, well that is it tacked up at pretty much every seam. Every corner has been joined, leveled, and tacked into place. A couple of them aren't perfect. I will have to come back once we pull this thing out, hopefully in one piece, with the hammer and file and finish a couple little fitment issues on corners or anything like that that didn't sit perfect. But I should be able to go ahead and pull it out. We'll lay it on a nice flat section of ground, then I can come back and take care of those, and then once it's fully welded on all sides, we can put it back in and start to work on the rearmost portion. Now there is a lot of joints. I think if I counted right, it's going to be 58 weldments or weld joints. That's going to be a lot. So the MIG spool gun is going to be nice for that, but it is not the most precision instrument. As you guys can see, some of these tacks are kind of sooty. I've really got to get the thing dialed in quite a bit before I call myself proficient with it. Oh guys, it's not perfect, but you know what? I think everything came out pretty darn good for a first attempt on this. Again, my Hobart 210 MVP has always done a great job for me. I was excited to try out that Spool Runner 100. As you guys can see though, still a lot of growing pains left on that thing. Now I'm not sure maybe if I didn't break up the oxide layer good enough in a couple places, or if I really do need to come back and hit it with acetone or something like that before I weld on it. But there were a couple welds that took great and a couple that you definitely had to come back and touch up. You can see a couple of them are a little larger, a little gloppier there where they didn't penetrate and go through that oxide layer. Also, I'm not 100% sure if my weld settings are right. I'm going based on what the little cheat sheet here inside of the Hobart says. However, there's things like gas flow rates that aren't exactly perfect and seem to be a little situation dependent. And also, I'm doing it on 110, 115. I think doing it on 230 would probably give me a better shot at getting that heat in there quicker, so I wouldn't have maybe some of this burnout and some of this globbing area around it. But even with all that, it's stuck together nicely. I have welds, I can come back, we'll get it fully cleaned up. I will make sure to bust the hell out of that oxide layer, and then we can fully weld all the areas. I'm gonna come back with a square and make sure we're perfect, but you know what? It came out as one piece. There is a tiny bit of difference side to side, and that's because there is a difference in the left and right bed sides in terms of the stampings. They're not all perfect, so this is just slightly adjusted to compensate so the bed sits level. Honestly though, I mean, it's all one piece. Pretty light, it's already rigid as it is, so I don't think we're gonna have any problems in that department. And once I get it fully welded up, I think it's gonna get obviously even stronger. So guys, I think that's gonna end it for today. I still gotta come back, get this thing cleaned up and fully welded. We've still got the whole rear section to do. We've got parts of that notch cover that we still have to do. So there's a ton more work left, a lot more welding. Hopefully we'll get that spool gun dialed in a little bit more and I can bring you guys some more tips on working with that thing. Like I said, if you didn't check out the comparison versus the Hobart Spool Runner and the Miller Spool Mate, that is up on the channel I believe a week or so ago, as well as part one of getting this sort of sketched out and cut apart and kind of the basic idea going. As always guys, there's lots more on the channel. My social media will be here on screen. Definitely check that out. Use the hashtag REBUILDEVERYTHING on all your projects. I'll check out those posts, give you guys a like or whatever. There is a ton more coming. Check out my build over on the 67 to 72 Chevy truck forums. I'm finally starting to get some of those images that were lost in that photo bucket fiasco back online and relinked. So some of the tech threads and stuff like that will be working again. There's a lot more to do here, guys, but I'm pretty happy with this as a stopping point for today. Definitely check back for all the rest of that. Like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.